It's that time of the week here on Believe where I kind of sound a little bit like this guy, Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort style, like yelling out, sell, 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 buy, 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 and all those things. No, it's sell, sell, sell time because it is the Sell High Show. It is week 12 of NBA Fantasy, which means we're about halfway through, pretty much halfway through the NBA fantasy season. So if you are not being active and trying to make trades, if you're kind of middling or if you're doing good, we can't be complacent. That's the first thing. And I always think there's two sides to the sell high coin. It's you trying to move an asset to get something that you need back. It's not what you might want back. Maybe you want to try and get one of your favorite players. Good for you. May not help you win your league. But what do you need? And who do you have that you could capitalize on? That's the first thing. The second thing is to know when you get a trade, I'm always like in default mode, like, sorry, bro. Sorry, sis, I don't want that. Like, I just immediately say no, unless something in the trade like attracts me. But the question I always ask myself is, why am I getting sent this trade? Well, let's answer that for you. And the question is the person wants to capitalize. So you need to know who is flying high above their station, who is really hot right now, who is being looking good. Maybe like you don't know what they know, that there's an injury on the horizon back and they've heard whispers or whatever. It's not like insider trading. But that's the whole key to a sell high. It's to get rid of them in a way that can actually grease your team's wheel. Like a team is a wheel all of a sudden. There's a metaphor for you. But this is what we're looking for. And there is one team. This is a bit of a special one because we've got teams who are starting to tank in the NBA. Now, when I do this show, I know when DMAC does his show, we like to look at the last 2 weeks because it gives us a sample size of, in most cases, between 6 to 8 games. That's really beneficial because when you're looking through the box scores and you just, you're looking through the recent history of the player, you kind of start to look at recency bias and it kicks in. And this is an interesting case from the Utah Jazz. Lowry and Keontae are both absolute sell highs, primarily because they are on the Utah Jazz. And we all know where that's gone for the last couple of years. And I think that they may not have gone the full tank this year. I mean, the Cody Williams pick isn't really working out yet. Fair enough. They've got depth and young talent there. Keontae has definitely, without a doubt, taken a leap this year. Lowry, Markkanen has the flying fin. After last year's disappointing run, has come back and been exceptional again this year. And he was sliding in drafts, like well down draft boards. Like, not going to trust that again. They're going to tank. He's going to be out injured. And then he's put on a really good start to the season. And there's something to really pay attention of here with the rankings of these two guys in the last 2 weeks. It's the fact that in the last week, Lowry has gone down to 44th. Now, the last 2 weeks, he's been 10th. And on the season, he's been 8th. So the interesting thing there is to see the decline over the last week in Lowry Markkanen. He has been phenomenal, almost 29 points a game in the last 2 weeks. These are statistics from the last 2 weeks. Incredible free throw, plus 500 from the field. He has been absolutely flying, has Lowry Markkanen. But the thing is we know about him and the Utah Jazz is how sustainable that could possibly be. Well, it's not that sustainable for him. He's already questionable coming up for the next one for injury maintenance. This tends to happen with him a lot. He goes missing for 10 or 12 games and they may run him out there and he doesn't. But it's proven one thing, that he is an excellent fantasy player when given the opportunity. And I do think the thing in Utah this year was Walker Kessler going down really hurt how competitive they were going to be. Or they could. Now, Jusuf Nurkic, mind you, the Bosnian beast, is also prime sell high candidate if anyone's going to buy that. He plummeted down in the rankings for a couple of weeks there, and now he's come back up as well. You've got 3 Utah Jazz players right now that in the last 2 weeks have all been inside the top 50. And this is a team that we know will eventually take. In fact, they've got 3 players inside the top 25 with Keontae George at 21, Jusuf Nurkic at 13, and Lowry Markkanen at 10. Like, it's crazy to think that that's the Utah Jazz, but I do think that this is a team that could probably put it. And now if they get another top draft pick next year, if they get one of those first 5, look, they're a good young team. And Lowry Markkanen has solidified himself there as an absolute professional. And again, these percentages speak to themselves. The curious thing to note, though, is that in the last week, on the current games played, he has gone down to the 44th best player. Now, this is again in the last week, 4-game sample size. He's 10th in the last 2 weeks on a 7-game sample size, is Lauri Markkanen. He's been playing in the last week 39 minutes a game, which is crazy as well. But it's much like here with Keontae George. Shows a similar story, but not as hard in some ways to accept, because we didn't have Keontae this high on the board. We had him just after the hundreds. He was a great late round pick. And on the season, though, Keontae really has taken a leap. He has been the 35th best player on the course of the season. And that's phenomenal. Like, that really is that next step up for Keontae George. In the last 2 weeks, he has been the 21st best player. But again, in the last week, he has been the 103rd best player. Now, his percentages over this time haven't changed that much, but points were really, I've always said this, points are the sexy girl at the party. They get your attention. And this guy has been scoring in buckets. He's been getting buckets of buckets this season. Look, the thing for me is I'm scared that he's been playing too well, that eventually they'll be like, look, Isaiah Collier, the reins are yours. Or Keontae, I think you've got like a stomach bug, something. You're just going to have to sit out some. The thing with me with Keontae George has been really interesting and tied to his efficiency on the year. He has been the 35th best player on the course of the season, which has been amazing in the last month. He's actually been the 8th in the last month, but it's gone down. So if you think about the month being 8th, and then we go down to the last 2 weeks, he's been 21st. And then in the last week, he's the 103rd best player. The thing that I've loved about his game is his free throw attempts earlier this year were a lot higher. He's been averaging over 7 over the course of the season, but in the last week, down to 4. Now, when he's up to that 7, 8 free throw attempts, he was almost, I think, leading the NBA in free throw attempts per game at one point there. This guy gets an extra bump. His field goal percentage being plus 450 on the year has been great. The last month it was 483. But again, it's 453 right now. It's down in the lows. He's getting his steals at 1.5 a game. He won't block shots anytime soon. But the assists have been phenomenal for him, 7.8 over the last couple of weeks. But that coupled with points, and you put those statistics together for Keontae George, it just looks really sexy. It just looks really, really sexy. All of the points, the decent percentages. And if you've got a guy out there who really needs points in your league and who is looking for that, that is going to be something very interesting for them. Now, again, 0.3 blocks in the last 2 weeks, pretty much none for the season, like 0 point. Like we're throwing that in the paper bag. But if someone's looking out there in your league and they need points and free throw percentage, I don't know how long he is for this one. What could you get for him? You could probably get a solid like top 35, top 40 player. Like you can look around the trades and do the Yahoo investigation when you go between them, because there have been some phenomenal trades recently for players of this caliber. And I'm just saying it's right up there with the kind of guy that people get attracted to based on recency bias and name hype as well. Oh, yeah, Keontae is having a breakout year. Yeah, you can get him. Take him. Please take him off my hands before it goes sideways. Because another guy who's been really hot that people love is Chet Holmgren. Now, OKC has been up and down this season, mostly up a few downs recently on the skids, but he has been buoyed. In the last 2 weeks, he is the 9th best player in fantasy. On the season, he is 29th. In the last week, the 15th best player. He has been shooting it from 3 well. The 3.1 blocks per game have been absolutely elite for Chet. And we love this because it's Chet. We like Chetty. We like Chetty Bang Bang. But Isaiah Hartenstein's been out. And there have been some trades around in some leagues that I've sort of like, oh, that's really curious. Like you start to do the transaction trends and you hear about stories and you see them posted on that. I'm like, oh, someone traded him for Ant Edwards. I saw on like Twitter like last week. I'm like, that's interesting. Would I do that trade? I think I would. But am I going for blocks? Do the blocks make me competitive in my league? Or do I have a lot of blocks? Did I draft, did I just try and go like a Adam King punt build special? Is that what I was into that day? Because if I was, and I was just going blocks, well then I've probably got like lots of blocks spare. And that's going to help it out as well. And what's going to help you out is getting amongst it right now with Sports Wizard. Now, if you're tired of setting your alarms and getting on your waiver wires and you're missing all those breakout players in your league, Well, you need to hit up Sports Wizard. It's an automated tool that can help you search for players, set who to pick, who to drop, the exact time you want to do it, and it executes the move automatically for you. It is an amazing tool that will absolutely take your fantasy game well and truly to the next level. No more babysitting that waiver wire. It does the hard yards for you and it gives you the edge. If you are looking to dominate your league, go to Sports Wizard, that's sportswzrd.com to get the ultimate fantasy sports edge. And again, the best thing about it is it is absolutely free to sign up. But if you want to unlock the real magic, get all of the secret sauce and special benefits, you can just get those league winning features very easily by checking out the promo code Robin. That's ROBBIN. Get involved and get onto that one. Now, back to our guy here, Chetty. Chet Holmgren has been phenomenal. But again, these trades, when we start to put it together, shows me that there is a market for him. And exactly right now, the market is high. And why it's a sell high on Chet, it's because Isaiah Hartenstein has been out. And he's had to do a little bit more heavy lifting in the middle there. And with Jalen Williams, he's resting tomorrow because of a heel. Chet, unfortunately, is out for the next game as well. But this is where we can start to have a look around. Now, I'm going to just do a quick little background check because it's the new day here. Chet will be out tomorrow, which is a shame. I really wish Chetty was playing. Here we go. Him for Zubac, him for Peyton Pritchard, and there you go. I've seen Chet Holmgren straight up for James Harden down. I've seen Chet Holmgren and Derek White for Victor Wembanyama, which is an absolutely huge trade. Like, this is the kind of thing. Chet has now, I've seen him go straight up for Anthony Davis, him for LaMelo Ball, and I've even seen one trade with Chet Holmgren and Peyton Pritchard for Nikola Jokic. It's right here on Yahoo right now, and that is an absolute stash trade. So this guy has value. And this is what we're doing when we're looking at a guy like Chet Holmgren, because it's the opposite of a guy like Nikola Vucevic, because he has been, again, buoyed by outings. In the last week, he's been the 12th best player, a first rounder. The last 2 weeks, the 34th, and the season, he's about 43rd. Now, this is where Nikola Vucevic can live. He is just sweet. Your non-offensive fantasy basketball player is Nikola Vucevic. He won't blow your mind, and you'll probably forget that you own him on your fantasy basketball side more times than not. You're like, oh, that's right, I've got Vooch in this league. Oh, I'm winning. Oh, I'm really up in rebounds. Oh, guys did well today. Oh, look at that. 26 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. Oh, he did some defensive stats for once. Awesome. Great percentages he can bring you now. Great free throw stroke as well on Vooch. Like, that's what we love for him. It's been a bit down this season, but the 2.13s, we like that. But again, you're never going to get those peripheral stats, the steals and the blocks. But there is trade time, and he has been buoyed right now by Kobe White being out a bunch of games the last few weeks. Kobe's back, but Josh Giddey's still out. This is huge because the playmaking then falls to him. And you can see right now that the playmaking over the last 2 weeks with the 4.1 assists, that looks sexy. There's games where it's up, there's games where it's down, but the box score the last couple for Vooch looks good. It's just not sustainable. And again, he's probably more likely to be moved than not. And we say that every year, but the Chicago Bulls are the most mundane, run-of-the-mill organization in the NBA for being one of the greatest organizations in the history of the NBA. They're just so mid. Like, it's Vooch. Great. But Jalen Smith has also been out for the last few games as well, the concussion protocol. There's Vooch. And you put it all together, and it just is an absolute sell-high time for Nikola Vucevic. Another guy that I've been really impressed by recently, and this is a guy who absolutely, there are sound effects in here. I want to find a really bad. This is it. Here we go. It's so bad it was a boo. It's like, oh no, people drafted you. Oh no, we thought you were going to be good. Oh, you're on the Clippers now, John Collins. And then it really went bad sideways. He wasn't playing well. There were minutes down. Obviously, Derek Jones Jr. was the whole emphasis for that there, and he had the incumbent. And I thought John Collins would be very much a Kawhi Leonard great spot gap if anything went sideways with Kawhi Leonard. And it didn't. In fact, Kawhi has been the number one player in fantasy for the last 2 weeks. He's been phenomenal. He's been an absolute sensation. But John Collins was abysmal to start the season, and it shows by his ranking overall. He's actually 121. He's managed to climb himself back in to contention for a rosterable player when he was not a rosterable player. In all intents and purposes, I saw him dropped on wires. I didn't even touch him at that point because there was just nothing there. There was no evidence to indicate that we should absolutely grab John Collins straight away until he started playing better. In fact, the last week he has been the 31st best player. In the last 2 weeks, the 30th best player, and that is sustainable. For a very short time, I'm very curious, though, about the Derrick Jones injury, because when Derrick Jones comes back, we need to find out how long that's going to be for. And while we do that, we sell John Collins, especially if he continues to put up the games like he has recently. Like, he has been nothing short of absolutely impressive. Collins has been on fire, and he's been getting put into a lot of trades. This has been the interesting thing as well. John Collins, last games, 18, 18, 22, the 8 and 11, 16. You see a 19-minute game there with 8 and 3, and you go back to the early on days of 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 8 points, 3 rebounds, no other assists, 2 or 3 turnovers a game. He was absolutely abysmal. And he's now climbed up to 80% rostered, again on Yahoo, after being down. And trades that this guy had been put in for the last couple of days are very interesting as well. You could package him to get a nice piece back. Collins and Peyton Pritchard for Trae Young, for example. I've seen John Collins flipped straight up for Miles Turner, who I think is a very prime buy low candidate. I think he's going to get better as the season goes on. But here's a guy who's been put into so many packages, like it's an add-on piece. John Collins and Nick Clifford for Dante DiVincenzo. Dante DiVincenzo hasn't been great. But what about John Collins and Paul George together? Well, that's going to get you back like an Andrew Wiggins. So whoever's getting that deal is getting the better deal. Whoever's getting Collins and Paul George for Andrew Wiggins, who has been flying high, with Dylan Cardwell, who hasn't really played for the last few games over in Sacramento, yeah, you're getting the best of that every single day of the week. John Collins and LaMelo Ball for Trae Young and Timoni Kamara, I'd probably get with. Like, these are the trades that are happening with these guys, and these are just the ones in the last 24 hours across Yahoo. Collins is a really great complement piece to a trade, but he's definitely a sell high. And so is this guy right here, Kelly Ware. The last week in the rankings, he has already started to fall off a little bit. So we put him together because I think we absolutely dodged a bullet today with that Chicago Bulls Miami Heat game being delayed if we are a holder of Khalil Ware. For me, I think it's just another opportunity for him to show that Tyler Hero's going to come back. He is the starter. His minutes are going to go down. I think that one of the reasons Bam hasn't been great lately is also because of the two center thing with Khalil Ware, and I think that gets a bit mushy, and Bam is Spoelstra's guy. We know that. Hero and Bam together is a great combination for Miami. We've seen it already this year when Khalil Ware was hot. Then he was dropped. It was because of Tyler Hero's out. Tyler Hero's back. Let's hope he stays in the lineup. I know that I'm heavily invested in him. Oh, bless up for Tyler Hero's health, for the love of goodness in fantasy basketball. But Khalil Ware right now has already started to show a decline. But while the box score still says, oh, yeah, it was just an off game. Oh, it was an off game, a couple off games here, but he's been look really good. And then you start to look back and say, oh, he actually has been pretty good. And in fact, on the season, it indicates with the 28th best player that, yeah, he has been very good indeed. But that's been really due to just the outages of one Tyler Hero. That's created that opportunity for him. But again, he's been benched in this game. He was not going to be playing, but I'm just there for him not returning this. Now, again, in the season, he's the 28th best player. Awesome. The last month, the 20th. The last 2 weeks, 40th. In the last week, in 3 games, he's been the 117th best player. But again, people have recency bias, or they have this view that he was going to have a breakout. He played really well in the preseason. He kind of moved up draft boards. And then he underwhelmed without that starting role. So this is where we have to make sense of it, put it together, and absolutely get that return back. Hey, before I get out here, I do want to have some other honorable mentions on sell highs, because this is 10 plus. There's more than 10. There's like 12. We've got 12. I'll recap them all as well. We're doing that one. Other guys who are here with a big asterisk. There's two asterisks on one of them. We've got Michael Porter Jr., number 5 in the last 2 weeks. Alex Sarr, 16 in the last 2 weeks. I think Trae Young landing in Washington helps him, but I do not see him as a top 20 player. And people love what he's doing in those elite block shots, and they're getting, him and Trae. So I think there's a bit of notable notoriety going on with that right now. We can make a big return on VJ Edgecombe. We have seen the rookie rise and fall. He's playing really well for Philadelphia, but we can cash in on that. And Onyeka Okongwu has been the 23rd best player in the last 2 weeks. Now, the reason I put 2 asterisks on this is because if there any more talk about an AD trade to Atlanta, the person who takes the biggest hit is Onyeka Okongwu. Unless he is in that trade and going back to Dallas, then this guy's going to have to take a hit. Like, now I know that, but they're getting Anthony Davis and he's always injured. Okay. But this is then the Kelly Ware problem. Like, he gets more of a run when there's an injury. So I would be thinking that Onyeka Okongwu would get more of a run when AD is injured. If he's injured, we're waiting to hear updates on his hand now and how long that's going to be. And that's probably going to impact his trade value if it's going to happen at all. But for me, Onyeka Okongwu is a very interesting case because we've seen him thrive when starting. We've seen him do, great when someone's out. Like Clinker, we've waited for it for years, and now it's finally here. And then they're going to get Anthony Davis back. And in every trade scenario that I've heard, it's Kristaps Porzingis going back to the Dallas Mavericks that seems to be the piece because of that expiring contract to free up cap for something in the future. So if it's Kristaps Porzingis that's out, well, I mean, Okongwu's already playing the starting center role. He would play the backup role that Porzingis has got right now. And I think that's something we just want to be really just watching out for and listening to. But the more it heats up, and hearing that he's got connections with his original, the manager of basketball operations in Atlanta, is the guy who's been there when he was drafted in New Orleans, just has my ears unpicked up a little bit there. Ryan Rollins, again, is flying high. The KPJ train is down, and the Ryan Rollins train is back up to 28th the last 2 weeks, putting him in packages right now. Looks very good when people are searching those box scores. And Colin Gillespie, Jalen Green, is ramping up his return to play for the Phoenix Suns. I do fear that Gillespie takes the biggest hit there. Grayson Allen will take a slight bit of dip in usage as well. But Colin Gillespie, who has been starting and brilliant for the Phoenix Suns, will move to more of a bench and backup role there, hurting his value. So it's another excellent trade piece to get in and get on with. This is the Sell High Show. I am Matty G at NBA Wiz. You can find me there and everywhere. This is Believe. You take care, be well, have fun.